Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for listening today. This video is going to be going over Vladimir Putin's rise to power. I obtained this data that you're going to hear about from using an artificial intelligence search. So probably a lot of it's probably correct. There might be some things that might be incorrect, but usually does a pretty good job. But all right, here we go. Vladimir Putin's rise to power began with his appointment by Boris Yeltsin in the late 1990s and was cemented by public support gained through divisive military campaign and a desire for stability in post-Soviet Russia. All right, early career and transition. All right, KGB background. Putin was a career foreign intelligence officer in the KGB, retiring as a lieutenant colonel in the 1990s. All right, St. Petersburg politics. He then entered politics, serving as a respected advisor and later deputy to Anatoly Sobchak, the first democratically elected mayor of St. Petersburg. All right, Moscow administration. In 1996, Putin moved to Moscow and joined President Boris Yeltsin's administration, quickly rising through the ranks. In July 1998, he was appointed director of the Federal Security Service, FSB, the KGB's domestic successor, and became secretary of the influential Security Council shortly after. All right, path to presidency. Appointment as prime minister in August 1999. Yeltsin, facing a deep economic crisis and low approval ratings, appointed Putin as Russia's prime minister, the fifth in less than 2 years. Yeltsin publicly endorsed the virtually unknown Putin as his preferred successor. The Second Chechen War. Weeks after his appointment, a series of apartment bombings across Russian cities blamed on Chechen militants killed hundreds of people. Putin's strong divisive response, promising to wipe out the terrorists wherever we find them, and overseeing a brutal but popular military campaign in Chechnya, restored a sense of national pride and order. This dramatically increased his public approval ratings. Right, Yeltsin's resignation on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1999. Right, Yeltsin unexpectedly resigned, making Putin the acting president. In accordance with the Constitution, one of Putin's first acts was to grant Yeltsin immunity from potential corruption charges. All right, 2000 presidential election was scheduled for March 2000. Putin, benefiting from his high popularity, control over state media, and the disorganization of the opposition, won the election outright with 52.9% of the vote in the first round. Consolidation of power. Once in office, Putin consolidated his power by curbing oligarchs' influence. He dismantled the power of the original politically influential oligarchs of the Yeltsin era, arresting some like Mikhail Khodorkovsky and forcing others into exile. All right, centralizing authority. He centralized state power, weakening regional autonomy and placing allies, many of them former KGB or FSB officials, in key government and corporate positions. All right, controlling media and elections. Putin gradually took control of the independent media and implemented changes to the electoral system to favor his ruling party, Unified Russia, thereby marginalizing political opposition. Economic growth. A surge in oil prices during his early years led to an improved economy and increased prosperity, making his authoritarian actions more palatable to a public wary of the 1990s chaos. Thanks for listening to this video about Vladimir Putin's rise to power. A brief video about Vladimir Putin's rise to power. Take care, everyone.